Alright. Hello, this is Failure Family. Me in the same suit, in the same thing. I'm always in the same thing, so I always need to find something to do like this. And before you have any precognitive of what you think of what you are seeing, we're gonna go to a short booklet that I've created. It's called Failure Family, The Dark Hours. This is based on some of the fallings and the storms of level 2 of philosophy base. Let's go. The evil upon us. Over time, the sun has become pungent and was scrutinized and punished by heaven or hell in a world of where I talked about how you punt those things. So there's a point on the board where it's centered that confides on the feeling perspective and the untrue layout. The words of each page of the isosceles was to create a metric of the achievable strength and name calling that was later, if ever, collected to build a progressive theme to identify it and its identity as a strength and used in that controller. Key specifics were not to reserve words to apology to its power into a disorder. Examples: I had never heard of psychomotor functions, but when I did, my skills in that and how it affected, bothered, became debilitating worse through theory, a career pathway browse, and a conspiracy denoting unemployment under Darian Fimisane from schizophrenia, GERD, gastro, political coining, and more. We have different speculations of how schizophrenia was achieved by deinterlacing, which we'll talk about later, and how that I don't think that is really true. See, it's a lack of one of these characters called Charity, which is I have a map of like a webbing of how Charity did a method. So let's go to what I want to talk about first, about the person. Charity. I don't deserve anything I have, and have been spoon-fed and given charities by others for an unequivocal exchange of agreements where I become a secondary word. Like gluttony, wrong, hypocrite, coward, I facilitate others' work by giving because I always got without much thought. The values fall through the floor with my morals. So that's what charity is. She's a coin. She don't care about what she says. She'll do anything. Somebody working 4 years backwards on their self-preservation, unconsidered about what they're doing now in the present, and not caring about the future, creates somebody like Charity. That's my issue with that technique. Okay, belligerent. Here's another page on another target. Belligerent. Always talking and criticizing and never a part of anything in a world of relativity and consequence where your energy secondarily participates in comparison. Guilt. What I use to continue my adventure of denial. Alright, so neglect. A woman's power and detachment. Neglect. God's unappreciation to a creature. This is the recordings of a remnant creature that is either a bird, raptor, turkey, who had knelt to neglect, a bright duck, or a jelly egg delectable with the fetus imagining that fetus as you, a helpless prevalent of unlove and hopelessness in a world ruled by God as in the pathetic of helplessness. Neglect, it has a lot. No, it's not neglect. It was like hopelessness, or well, part of what neglect's feeling of what his body was, and it's taking those words and the philosophy and philanthropy and finding the essence of what is left. And I can move. I would rather you have to participate in the face value of the conversation. Comfort. Voodoo doll of a stuffed animal creature. Likeliness, associative, negative, soothing, cognition, preference. What is the likeliness, associative, negative, soothing, cognition, preference? It's comfort. I don't know how I went backwards like that. So pretty much, it kind of seemed hacked even right now, but I'm not gonna... My growling to the realism of that is kind of like that. So it's familiarity, comfort. What is the shape? So what is the first shape? What is continuing a conversation about something you're not talking about? What is the second shape? What is that spelling right there? What is that spelling actually? What is that actually spelled like? What the heck, dude? Extremist. Not doing that again. I want to talk about some of the design parts of this. So our brand expectations are that expect each and every word or concept to have inclusions such as a custom drawn NFT or art in the view, an index card, a hidden registry, a creature, a 1 to 2 or 3 word title that is focused on the keyword of it is. So it's the high ranking keyword of itself, but the same amount of conversation note on each card. This keeps our creative organized and captures the expression of immersion. Chore has a go back to review each card, collect all cards to the most ultimate force, challenge cards, challenge ideas, don't video BPM. So this is really odd, so I did not press the backwards on that, and I kind of got a backwards thing right there. So somebody in some kind of denial. So slowing, trusting, patient, and touchable key factors placed in videos at the rate of the GM, me transferring my traits and speed to you at the rate of your presumptuous setup, conclusive excuse on the transfer to control on an alias of self-motive intent, rationalized by the strength switch method. If it annoys, it will be worked on and returned to the field of which I can broker a different body on the intent of some kind of intelligence. Dude, why would you embody the sarcasm of your intent on the body of what you place yourself as to say that's you as a complementary of what you're not? That's the question. Because you're a fucking idiot. Okay. If it annoys, it will be worked on and returned to the field of NFTs or the field in a spoiler design. That there is no point to life, and that is my gift to you in a positive way, like there is no point to life. As in nobody's gonna tell you what life is. Why would you tell anybody it is going all as planned, and a lot of our concerns are in transfer of unequivocal imbalance of the field value system, that the time setting system, and so will be modified for day and night. A new card. Wow, it refuses to... I'm not even touching anything, but this, I'm clicking the forward right now, unless that's the backwards, which it's not. That's backwards. Don't you think that is kind of silly? Loserism, the power of weakness is a true strength. All things that are not even going to be talked about right now, so we're just going to close that for now. And then probably all that it is it will, well, that will have to be covered at that time. But yeah, it's just I'll put myself in like the different spot, but pretty much we have enough pressure that we have to have the actual set the card to do the action before I do that. So that's the way that I go about that. It's like it's something that you don't want people to know, but you don't exist in the exchange where you don't find yourself as hypocritical as charity to not embargo yourself and your self-worth. I think you're having an opportune time of what you think of yourself, and that's your problem. I think that you think something. I'm really in a chess club situation with that one. That was a tough comeback. It's unfortunate to be like cruel, but how am I cruel to myself and who I who I give my blessings to if I'm the one taking the action to do that? If you have an intent on a place where you body your existence and you could not complete your own sentence, as in you can't even go about your maneuver past failure family to get to the point of where you say it. So what makes it that you think in somebody having to think of you that the correct exchange of any entity that's has the ability to wait to hear what you have to say, that a transgression as in you? Wow. You wanna know what? I don't think you even know how to say anything but what I'm saying. One, two, three, five. Why don't you take a timer to count what finger you put up, and then by the time that you shut your mouth, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna show a video. Well, alright, unrelated, dot dot dot. I'm excited to show a video of how I made a punching square that I'm gonna talk about another index card where I'm gonna circle that card, put an image of myself and that, and how I have it, and how I punch it, and then if I can punch it, or if then you can give it a try to see if you think you could. Maybe on the split of the opening, but on the method that is seen later. Alright, before I was having an intellectual conversation on an off switch of what would body that in a Persephone of intent, then that was what I was working on my block is figuring it takes a lot in the exchange of the format or cube that I'm in to have to completely drop like said values because they're difficult to body otherwise in that way or in the way that I see, even though most attempts at any heroism is met by being the body of doing that or whatever elements or armors or things that you actually do that are never a part of what you're doing. So sometimes there's a disconnect to finding the energy of what you want to do, what you feel you have to do, and how that participates on your body as a sword or a shield or armor or anything else. Hey, I'm a coward, but only less than four people, no, less than two people that I know had the courage to say happy birthday, and then a third as well, and then companies, one company that I work for, and then companies that I'm associating myself with, and yeah, just traditional stuff, things that are expected and excited in line. Then some new methods on how we're treating things that benefit us. So we're giving shares of 10% or in a number of 10 of each of the things that would be participating in our life, and those are the slots to fill in for what would be a participation of our life. So when anything bad happens, we're very diagnostic with, like dredge, this is how we were helped and so forth, and this is how that happened, and we're making a positive scale with an equal amount of a maximum of 10 people and how that is, and then I'm countering that. It's in conjunction with the Trinity method, the Trinity force, and then with the Trinity force and the tense boost, we're going to be slamming. It's like, sometimes you don't want to say, because the mystic of the sorcery of that Taoism and peace is it more. I think it's more valuable, like I said in my own hypocriticism, that if I was not to say it, and it implied an energy undefined. So what's getting banned later on in this game is undefined energy exchange. And so it's lucky at this time we're doing this, but we're doing a lot of work in the community right now, so I never know when an episode is gonna blow, but it's, for the most part, as far as personal experience, having whatever progression run is unaffected so far, but there is some other stuff. See, right at that point, I would want to do a page break, then continue on to the next segment because I'm so hyper. So I was gonna do a theory. It's tough to see myself in like a second dimension of a theory of what I wanted to do, but I wanted to draw Pokemon and then see if I thought that was cool. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna try to close this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for putting up with all the energy problems with the block, and the key factor is defining an energy for what you put in that, taking the type of relationship, defining things, itemizing it. Later on, itemization, it's a real big factor in my artifact deck. So you can't be like itemizing something that you never say because you never said it, because you attempted, like you must have, I don't know. I don't like to live on the negative absentine of what I've like rearranged in the way that I said it. It's just a way of going about that. And a person saying that and itemizing the next thing of what they thought was a prediction is either a non-intent on an algorithm, on an unfocus of that as a checkpoint of returning to a undeclared energy diopside, which is not what we want. We want it as clear cut and sharp and any design and anything like that. But I'm really concerned about some of the previous investigations of how similar the false narrative and the energy synchronization of the short FF of that. And I feel like that nobody's appeared, no energies, no fathers have appeared, nothing, dude. A complete absence. Like I said, you can look at my Facebook. It's kind of weird. that, like, after all this, I have to like really bind something, that somebody even saying something is more accrued to defining their illusion of what they hold on to. So next time somebody, you see something as that, like, once the 1 to 10 and things are set up, a friend is a danger and is pretty much a liability. If we could minimize to the part that those things were, that is the confidence of what you say that is transferable, and that's kind of where we have to work on the 1 to 10, and who do you think deserves to be on the prompt phone. Prompt phone is services, but the 1 to 10 is more like, the 1 to 10 is like that, but the tense is more of what we want as our friendship group, and structural things that are gonna push us beyond like our status. So we're gonna take those and all debut, and for now are completed for our thing, and working on some of the blocks which you can challenge. You can always, like, it's so cool that you really like are like, ah, man, I don't want to get involved in the Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, League of Legends mashup. Those are the ones I'm using. And yeah, that's all that. And then the hidden ones are the actual drawings of the ones that I will do, that kind of like have more patience on a black and white drawing type style. So it's pretty easy to get into that. Alright, that's all for now. I don't think you would have heard anything, but we also are doing, well, later on, a containment thing. It's just like there's an exchange of what people find as like the most important thing, and then being that the energy transfers. It's like a game of, like, I don't know. It's tricky, but I got a hang of it. Alright, and that'll be it. And thank you for watching. For anybody that I'm, interested in helping. Unfortunately, I was trying to do that, but there's a concealment on one of these characters, but like I said in real time, that we have to deal with characters one at a time, and this is not something that I would even notorium in the success rate of my executions on this person. This person's afraid of equal contact, like, if there's a conversation to the air and then it says something, or if it says something, it tries to think that it's inging something, so it'll push its wife into doing something. Like, I've seen one at a grocery store where I was messing with it and it did something, so like it whistled, so I whistled, so then they were trying to get in a line, which normal people, they get in lines to get their groceries, so then he was trying to abuse his wife. And then, nobody cared. I mean, what a prick. What a bunch of idiots. So when you have somebody like that, they kind of just see the thing that Five is scared of the most is, or that he's most obscured about, is himself. Like, he knows that he looks dumb, and I've been specific with my mastery as a beast master, and a lot of the associations involve, like, I want these people to have the opportunity to get the challenge. Like, it's not like I'm asking for a restraining order, even though, like, Michigan's like, if said person talks to you in a normal way, or you talk here like that, for whatever reason, bodying that they couldn't, or that they chose not to, that's whatever, I guess. Or that they just chose not to, that their explanation for themselves was cowardice in comparison to synchronize their their personal stats with that. So, what do you think of somebody who takes on like an amount, and it's to achieve that amount it over a long extension of time? Is that somebody who changed the game for other people, or who did everything for themselves? And try to drag everybody into this idea of themselves. That's what I think, and that's the difference between the control deck of the ING Dark Control and then the air deck, where I talk about previous that I'm offering the meaning to no point in life, which is like a great way. Well, it says negative expectations on somebody in tandem at a defeat of who is not me. So I'll expect, so whatever that is, not representative of what I said. So we're gonna take those other things and make that possible. The thing about being aligned with somebody is you can't be counterintuitive to your intelligence. And the words that you say for the full complexity of what somebody finds as their angelic form. Like, if I'm to take what this is factoring, then I'm gonna say that. So somebody, in an example, discriminatized females. So they said that the exclusion between that relationship was that it was females. So in that point of them saying that females are especially inclusive to a counter suggestion of like harmony, creates the other part where the said male can say the opposite in the some way that I said it, so that they would feel like luring that to be wrong, to create something to be wrong, is like selling yourself to the same idea that you disagreed because it wasn't your true form. So the if somebody did do that, then that would be what you would do. But it's just I'm pretty far into my progress, and my life work is at its fruition. I could go down a legend. How can a legend? How can see this? The person is jealous and they're afraid, and I'll go find this person, and it's just as simple as an explanation. Okay. So once in a biting way, well, pretty much I just gotta kind of. Sometimes it's not enough to wait for these parties to do something because they can think of the ideas and how they're gonna pre-set up. So, like I said, for pre-measures at this time, if you're ever in despite of your truth of what you feel is at your safety, then you can always activate, if located to the truth, the number 28, and then usually that will get that there and will create the distinction between safety and danger. Or if you go to a Home Depot, they have 14 cookies attached to their radius, which is attached to any format that uses the same is this like shared Google Analytics, because HP printers are really Google data boxes as well. So all these ideas that are kind of there are not even not there. So that's kind of weird. It's like when said person does that for our security system team, we have to let it go enough that it would do that. But at the same time, at that, for the 65, we're unable, the Muskegon trash were unable to achieve with themselves to get the trash at the appropriate time. So we're taking something that would be a control for what we would see it as, and then seeing how other people respond to their own control. So in this situation, on a 65. We'll see what happens. It's hilarious, and it's like the thing, it cannot even see itself, and then it goes and leaves, and how you would say that, just well, whatever. A 5 foot beast is like, it's not easy into what you say to funnel down, to come to the argument. I'll say whatever I wish. If I said whatever you just told me to say, I bet something else would say, help, help, I'm wrong. What a joke. You know, you make fun of things related to my existence, so I make fun of your lady, who you don't protect, who you try to abuse, and then you think somebody is gonna care if you abuse something. So then it was something like this. There was a point, like a dot, of what something is, like a concept, and somebody thinks that that concept is more important, and then it creates a pirate ship of two words that clink together, and those things curve to the value of that party right there. So they become more of like a secondary nuisance enemy on the field. And when somebody is over saying things that they shouldn't, and then are attempting to define the values without really having doing that technique, it already knows in true form that it's doing something wrong. So that is how that goes. There's nothing you can do about my expertise to get past my techniques. And I know I don't look so great right now, but I should have put the lighting that way. I'm still a lot happier with this video. I still got this here. I still got this protected, and it's going to be protected whether it's anticipated or not. You know, nobody is touching the said area except this other person. Okay, bro. You're not gonna think that you're liable for your own nuisances and think you have this, and somebody's to their concern of what they continue for themselves is not a participating factor of somebody's own idea of fusing my name with another to create just a simple format at reasonable times in comparison to anybody's achievements. I mean, you would really have to be doing really good. You would have to be on point with all types of dynamic and all kinds of money, really. It's bold taking that because it's YouTube is still a village, and it's still housing, and it still embodies everything, the physical. Not that that was really anything, but that's all I gotta say about that. And if there's any reiterations or concerns on any of the body for this, mostly we're just gonna wait and see what's happening, and hopefully just create a better line of this thing of what we're looking at, and making sure our machine is safe. But I got the pockets, and I got the profits of where I want, money or not. I'm confident on that short play of the counter argument that the Sun Dynasty really did not beat the Moon Dynasty on that play. It seems like there's a 50 friction, but all it takes is a bit of contact and just waiting and saying what you really gotta say, and what was your lay-ons, that Darian is this and that. You can't really say that in the comparison of your age or anything you got going on. I think you're a funny man. Yeah. All right. That's all I gotta say to me before you call somebody. Like, man, I almost stopped myself from trading of my own virtues. Oh well, that's okay. That's pretty much the end of the video. Escaping Escaping, what is it, like, something. Alright. You know, next time we're gonna try our best to get those together, but I really like the crew, and that's pretty much it. Bye.